Ever get that feeling like you're just piling on, with no real direction, like trying to put together furniture without even glancing at the instructions?
It can get pretty chaotic.
Right. It can. So today we're diving into some agile principles that can help us steer clear of those situations.
Sounds good.
We're looking at this video, and it really digs deep into the ideas of excellence, simplicity, self-organization, all that good stuff.
Yeah. What I find really fascinating is how it emphasizes having a North Star to guide your work.
Okay, so North Star, what does that actually look like when we try to put it into practice?
Well, it's about having a clear vision for what you're trying to achieve. Think of it like setting a general direction, instead of getting bogged down in every tiny detail.
I can see that.
It uses this analogy of putting together furniture without instructions. You might end up with extra pieces, or a wonky table if you don't keep the big picture in mind.
So you're not saying to lower your standards, but more like focusing on what really matters.
Exactly. Continuous attention to excellence is crucial, but we have to be careful not to fall into that trap of perfectionism.
Oh, that makes sense.
Striving for excellence means always looking for ways to improve, but perfectionism can actually hold you back. You get paralyzed.
Oh yeah, I've totally been there. Like getting so caught up in making something perfect that I lose sight of the bigger goal.
It happens to the best of us, but remember, it's more important to deliver value consistently than to chase some impossible ideal of perfection.
Couldn't agree more. And this actually leads to another point that resonated with me, the art of saying no.
Oh, yeah, that's a big one.
We all want to deliver, but the video argues that saying yes to everything can actually sabotage our ability to do anything well.
It's true. When we overcommit, we spread ourselves too thin and end up under-delivering across the board.
It's like we're diluting our focus.
Exactly. And it can damage trust with stakeholders, customers, all of that.
So how do we escape that cycle of saying yes all the time? How do we learn to say no effectively?
It comes down to prioritizing ruthlessly. You got to identify what really matters and have the courage to say no to the less important stuff.
I could see how that might feel uncomfortable at first.
It can be, but it frees you up to deliver higher quality work on the things that truly make a difference.
So it's not about being negative, but about being strategic with your time and energy.
Exactly. And this ties into another key principle highlighted in the video, leveraging the knowledge of those closest to the work.
They're the ones in the trenches.
Exactly. They have the most valuable insights into what's working, what needs improvement.
They see the day-to-day challenges, the opportunities.
Exactly. Yet traditional decision-making often misses out on this wealth of knowledge.
Yeah, you get those decisions made in a vacuum.
Right. And they just don't quite hit the mark.
Makes sense to me. So the video stresses incorporating feedback from these frontline teams when you're designing frameworks and processes.
Absolutely. Value the knowledge and experience of the entire team. That's how you create more effective and adaptable systems.
So moving away from rigid hierarchies toward a more collaborative, empowering way of working.
Exactly. And that also involves creating a culture of open and honest feedback. Which brings us to another key principle, the power of reflection.
Yeah, it's not enough to just go through the motions, right?
Right. Got to have those open conversations about what's working, what's not, how things can be improved.
Got to be willing to learn and adapt.
And the video specifically mentions blameless retrospectives as a tool for this.
Blameless retrospectives. Can you unpack that a bit? I'm not familiar with the term.
Sure, it's a structured meeting where the team reflects on a recent period of work, but the focus is on understanding what happened and why, not on blaming anyone.
So it's about creating that safe space where people can share their honest thoughts and learn from both the successes and the mistakes.
Exactly. Psychological safety is crucial for effective learning and improvement.
Makes sense. It seems like all these principles, excellence, simplicity, self-organization, reflection, they're all about fostering this mindset of continuous improvement and adaptation.
You're absolutely right. And while the video focuses on software development, these principles are relevant to so many fields.
That's what's so cool about it. So even if we're not software developers, we can still benefit from adopting these agile principles in our work and lives.
Absolutely. Teacher, musician, entrepreneur, it doesn't matter. These principles can help you work smarter, not harder, and achieve better results.
It's really eye-opening, these agile principles. They're about creating a more collaborative, flexible, and human-centered approach to work.
You've got it. And the video makes this important point. You need to revisit the Agile Manifesto regularly. It's not a one-time thing.
More like a guidebook.
Right. You can refer back to it again and again to keep yourself on track and spark new insights.
It's not about memorizing the words, but internalizing the values and principles, making them second nature.
Exactly. Cultivating an agile mindset, a way of approaching work that embraces change, values collaboration, and focuses on delivering value.
So it's more than just rules. It's a new way of thinking and working.
Precisely.
This has been fascinating. We've talked about having a North Star, the power of saying no, the value of those blameless retrospectives. Now I'm curious to hear more about how these Agile principles apply to AI. The video touches on that. And I think it's a really interesting connection.
It is. Especially with how fast AI is evolving, you need to be adaptable, responsive to change. And that's where the agile mindset can be incredibly valuable.
So how exactly do these principles translate to the world of AI? Can you give us some concrete examples?
Absolutely. Think about the development of language models. It's an iterative process, constantly refining and improving the model based on feedback and new data.
So you're running experiments, gathering data, adapting your approach as you learn.
Precisely. And that iterative approach is crucial in AI because the field is constantly evolving. What works today might be obsolete tomorrow.
So agility is key?
Exactly. And agile principles help us build that adaptability into our AI development processes.
This reminds me of self-organizing teams. How does that play out in AI development?
It's about empowering the people closest to the work to make decisions and solve problems.
So in AI, that might mean giving data scientists and engineers more autonomy,
Yes, to experiment and iterate on their models.
instead of that top-down approach where decisions are made in a vacuum.
Right, you encourage collaboration and ownership at all levels.
And that can lead to more innovative and effective solutions because you're tapping into the collective intelligence of the team.
Exactly.
And it all ties back to valuing feedback, creating a culture of continuous learning.
Absolutely. And in AI, that might involve setting up feedback loops where users can give input on how the AI is performing.
So you're constantly seeking ways to improve the AI based on real-world usage and feedback.
Exactly. That iterative process of refinement, it's key to the agile approach.
It sounds like these Agile principles offer a valuable framework for navigating the complexities and uncertainties of AI development.
They do. By embracing these principles, we can create AI systems that are more adaptable, responsive, and ultimately more successful.
It's amazing how these principles can be applied to so many areas of our lives. Not just work, I'm thinking about how the North Star concept could help with personal goal setting.
That's a great point. Having a clear vision for what you want to achieve in life and using that vision to guide your decisions and actions.
And continuous improvement could apply to personal growth as well.
Absolutely. Embracing a growth mindset, recognizing that we're always works in progress.
And the art of saying no. That's incredibly valuable in our personal lives too, setting boundaries, prioritizing our time and energy.
You're right. Learning to say no is a powerful tool for protecting our well-being and creating a more balanced life.
So how do these principles actually translate to AI? Can you give some concrete examples?
Absolutely. Think about language models. It's an iterative process. You're always refining and improving based on feedback and data.
So you're running experiments, gathering data, adapting as you learn.
Exactly. And that iterative approach is so crucial with AI because things change so fast.
Yeah.
What works today might be obsolete tomorrow.
Agility is key.
Exactly. Agile helps build that adaptability into our AI development processes.
This makes me think about self-organizing teams. How does that work with AI development?
It's about empowering the people doing the work to make decisions and solve problems.
So in AI, that might mean giving data scientists and engineers more autonomy
Yeah, to experiment and iterate.
instead of that top-down approach.
Right, where decisions are made in isolation, you encourage collaboration and ownership.
And that can lead to better solutions because you're using the whole team's intelligence.
Exactly.
And it all comes back to feedback, creating a culture of continuous learning.
Absolutely. With AI, that might involve setting up feedback loops so users can give input on the AI's performance.
So you're always looking for ways to improve based on real-world use.
Exactly. That iterative process of refinement, that's central to Agile.
It sounds like these principles offer a solid framework for navigating the complexities of AI development.
They do. By embracing Agile, we can create more adaptable and responsive AI systems that are ultimately more successful.
It's fascinating how these principles could be applied to so many areas of our lives, even beyond work, like the North Star concept. That could be useful for personal goal setting.
That's a great point. Having a clear vision for what you want to achieve and using that to guide your decisions.
And continuous improvement, that applies to personal growth too.
Absolutely. Embracing a growth mindset and recognizing that we're all works in progress.
And saying no, that's important in our personal lives too, setting boundaries, prioritizing time and energy.
You're right. Saying no helps protect our well-being and create a more balanced life.
This deep dive has been so insightful. It's amazing how these Agile principles, which were developed for software, can have such broad applications.
It really speaks to the power of these principles. They provide a framework for navigating complexity, embracing change, achieving success in a world that's constantly evolving.
It's not about rules. It's a mindset, embracing adaptability, collaboration, continuous improvement.
Exactly, and that mindset can be really empowering in both our work and personal lives.
So before we wrap up, I want to encourage everyone to check out the full video we've been talking about. It's linked in the description.
Definitely, it's a great resource for learning more about Agile and how it can be applied.
It really is amazing how versatile these Agile principles are. They really are. And it all comes back to that North Star to guide your work.
Yeah.
And remembering that excellence, it's a journey, not a destination. It's about continuously improving, not trying to reach some perfect ideal.
Right, and realizing we don't have to do it all alone.
Collaboration and feedback, so crucial.
That's where self-organizing teams come in, empowering the people closest to the work.
Trusting in the team's intelligence.
This deep dive has really shown how important it is to shift our mindset from those rigid hierarchies to more agile and collaborative ways of working.
Yeah, a valuable takeaway for anyone.
Absolutely. No matter what you do, building software, developing AI, or just trying to reach your own goals, these agile principles can help you succeed.
It's about embracing change, valuing feedback, always looking for ways to improve.
And remembering that excellence isn't the destination. It's a journey of constant learning and growth.
This has been such a great conversation. Thanks for joining me and sharing your expertise.
It's been my pleasure.
And to all our listeners, be sure to check out the full video. It's linked in the description below. It's a great resource for anyone who wants to learn more about these Agile principles and how to apply them.
And be sure to check out the other videos too by clicking on those thumbnails.
Until next time, keep learning, keep adapting, and keep striving for excellence.